Today I want to talk about edges, especially within creative realms, and look at exploring our edges, what our edges are, and how we can tap into more infinite creative flow when we are a blank canvas and really staring those fears in the face and walking past them. But today, this is my outfit. This is my quarantine outfit of the day. My little blazer dress from Zara. I think it's from Zara. Yeah, I got it in London last year and I love it. And I don't know if you can see my shoes, but I've got these amazing, let me show you my shoes. I've got these amazing purple shoes on. I got to inspire you with my fashion. And guess what else I bought today? I'm going to go into the message in a second, but I thought I'd show you some fun things. So I took matters into my own hands and succumbed to the Instagram ads and got myself this laser hair removal device, and it's pain free. I did it this morning. It took me ages. I'm sitting here with my leg like up like this doing the back of my legs. It's pain free. My friend has one and she said it actually works, so we'll see. I had just started getting laser on my legs, and hey Jules, get one of these. Remove everywhere. But okay, let's go into the message. Oh, also I want to tell you about this amazing webinar that is happening tonight. If you've ever wanted to look into online business and digital marketing, affiliate marketing, we are launching a new platform. My mentors have launched a new platform. It's incredible. I've been part of this business for over a year now, 18 months I think, and we're relaunching something new. So now is the time to learn about how you can create your reality in business and learn the tricks of the trades with all online business. I'll put the link in the comments, but if you would like to know more, just send me a message, because that is live tonight and there'll be a replay. Okay, I'm like out of breath for some reason. I feel hot. I need to put my aircon on. Hang on. I think I'll call this my bedroom chats now. You're welcome to my bedroom. Okay, so the message is around creativity. And as some of you may have seen, I've been on a little bit of a creative journey, and I call it a creative awakening of sorts, which I think is just another layer to a spiritual awakening, but manifested in form in terms of developing an artistic skill. So I have been exploring creativity within myself and pushing the edges, and I noticed something last night. I can't tell what you can see because I've got my legs like spread like this, so I better sit on my bed properly with my legs crossed in my newsreader outfit. So last night, I have two forms of creative expression right now. Writing has always been my creative outlet, and then lately I have learnt to draw, and that's something that's just come through in the last few months, and I've been drawing. Now, with writing, I'm working on a book at the moment. I'm working on a non-fiction book, and it's quite challenging for me developing characters and exploring storylines and figuring out how the F to actually bring all that together. So I was listening to a masterclass on Masterclass, the platform. Who would have thought? And I was listening to Judy Blume, who is one of my all-time favorite authors from childhood. She wrote a lot of teenage and children's novels, and I read them like every single day. And then another guy whose name I cannot remember. I've never read any of his book, but he's very famous. And they were talking about character development, which is what I was really interested in. And what I was noticing, because I was listening as I was drawing, I was just sitting there sketching. Now he was talking, and that I'll relate that in a second. He was talking about when you are developing characters and storylines, all of that is within you, right? We can take things from outside of that. We can be inspired by things around us and people we meet and all of that. But the depth of the characters and the storylines lies within us. But sometimes there can be an edge there because we're not willing to go somewhere in our consciousness to write about it. You know, some of us might be scared of our own darkness, or scared of what our imagination is capable of when we are creating something like a character. So there might be that wall there, right? And that wall is what stops us from being in full surrender mode and able to channel a creative project. And when I was relating it to my drawing, because I was listening to this as I was drawing, and this particular piece I was working on, I wasn't really thinking at all. I literally just picked up my sketchbook and my pencil to do something, doodle, while I was listening. I should have been taking notes on the writing course, but that may be a bit of my procrastination. And with my sketching, I didn't have anything in mind. I wasn't thinking I was going to draw a man or a female or what race or anything. It literally was just pencil to paper and start. It literally like that. I always start at an eye, so I guess my mind knows somewhere to start. I always start with the eye. If I'm copying a picture, I start with the shaped face, the shape of the face. But this was just like this. And then all of a sudden, it comes to form. And last night, it was like an Asian male figure appeared on my screen, right? So I was noticing the difference between that and writing. So I could completely channel a new face with nothing in my mind, not knowing what was going to come out. It's a pure expression. It's like shapes being formed, something inside of me taking over, something bypassing my brain, because it's complete surrender. Now, when I look at that, it's because I have no agenda. I wasn't working on a project. I wasn't needing it to be anything. I was literally just doodling. And that's been all of my art so far. There is no agenda. I'm not trying to open an art gallery. I'm not trying to be an artist. Well, I kind of am now. I'm a bit of a try-hard artist now. but you know, there's no agenda. It's not a money-making thing for me. It just is. And I have no need to be good at it, but yet I'm becoming good at it, right? But with my writing, I had to look within myself of my edge. And there was an edge. And there was an edge in this particular story that I'm writing. Don't ask me what the story is about, but there was a particular edge because I had fear around crossing the line. And crossing the line because there's a lot of, I guess you could say, magical elements to this story and characters, and I was scared of going into the inverted energy of occultism. Now, occultism isn't all bad, but there is a fine line between the inversion, which some may label as the evil type, the inverted energy, and then the benevolent kind of energy, right? And I was scared of crossing that line. I was also scared that I would channel something that may not be of benevolent energy, because I can channel energy. And that's what I'm finding with my drawing. I just literally channel faces onto a page, right? I have that ability. I don't tap into it, right? My sister's a psychic medium. I don't do that type of work. And I've had fear around that. But I am quite open. And that, I guess, has been a negative thing for me in my life, because I can open very easily. By open, I mean my energy centers. As soon as I do something like Kundalini, I have spirits come in, right? So I've gone through a lot of negative experiences because of that. So that was my edge. And then I had to look at that, and I was also scared of writing characters. So for instance, the main character is called Scarlet Fox. And I always said that she was an alter ego of mine. But lately I've been like thinking, well, what if I wanted to cross the line with this character? Cross the line by taking me out of it and turning her into something that may be so far from my original thought. Maybe she is a bitch, right? I was watching Naomi Campbell last night. She has a YouTube channel and she interviews people. At the moment in this quarantine, she's interviewing her friends, lots of supermodels. And I was watching Naomi Campbell and I thought, God, she's a character. Like, she's charismatic, she's beautiful, she's just magnetic. Like, there's all these things about her. And I was surprised by what I was seeing, because I'd heard that she was quite like a brat, basically. And there's lots of footage of her being an absolute brat. And I thought, that's the type of character I would love to write into my storyline. And there was an edge there for me within making Scarlet Fox, because I had in my mind Scarlet Fox was my alter ego. So how far can I go with my alter ego? How dark can I go? And same with some of the characters. Some of the characters are based off people I know. And I had limitations around that, because I didn't want to then turn them into a serial killer, or my book's not about that, but you know what I mean? There was limitations, because I thought, well, what if they think, like one person in particular knows that she's in the book. What if she thinks I think she's like that? So there was all these limitations, and I could see why the book wasn't flowing. It wasn't flowing. And I can write just like not know what to write, and then something appears. Most of my Facebook posts are are doing that. I have no idea. Every single day I'm like, I don't know what to write today. I don't know what to write, and something comes out, right? But with my book, it wasn't happening. So when I could see the difference between my drawing and my writing, I just saw the edges. So for me, I'm actually going to test myself in that, not test myself, I should say, keep myself accountable and show up and be willing to write whatever is within me, whatever comes out, no matter how dark it is, no matter if I think it's coming from a demon, no matter if I think it's, an inverted energy coming out, whatever it is, I want to just show up and write. I don't have to publish it, right? And that's the thing. It's like we can then choose, hey, I don't want to put that energy out into the world. But if it's coming through me, I want to let it come through me rather than be scared and have all these things. Because for me, this is my personal journey, because I do come from a Christian background and I do study a lot of different spiritual teachings, and I've learned quite a lot about occultism and all the different forms, and even like some of the really, I don't like using the word dark because I think that word's got a bad rap, because dark consciousness is the absolute. It's where it all started, right? But the inverted, the evil kind of energy, like I've learned it all about, like how it filtrates through and how there's so much the symbolism, and a lot of what they do is actually just upside down version of benevolent, beautiful energy, right? It's why like they use the upside down cross. Everything they do is actually, if you go back, like, the symbols like that, you see it all in Hollywood, right? The symbols like that and that, all of these things that they do, if you actually study this stuff, and look, if anyone knows more about this than me, please feel free to correct me if I say the wrong thing. But a lot of that stuff actually comes from Egyptian times, where it wasn't used as this kind of controlling evil thing. They inverted the energy. Everything is about inverted energy for them. But see, because I study all that, I have this fear now. I have this fear of like, what's going to come through me in this book? But that's my edge. So as creators, if we want to bring a project out, we have to look at what is our edge, why is it showing up, what is the real truth? These are questions we can ask ourselves. And what am I going to do today about it, right? Because everything is frequency. So for instance, if I start writing and I feel that it's not of benevolent energy, well then I'm going to feel that because I'm very attuned to frequency. I'm very attuned to frequency. You can feel it in your body if something isn't the right thing. Now, I'm just giving an example of what I'm experiencing. Obviously, your edge might be something completely different. I want to bring in sexual energy for a wee moment of creative energy is sexual energy. So for many of us, if there's no flow in sexual energy, if there's an edge there, if we're not allowing ourselves to be a certain way, if we have all this conditioning around that type of energy, then that can show up in creative forms, right? That could be the block. That could be my block, actually, just to be real. So it is looking at what is that edge. For a musician, it might be like being so stuck in a genre and not knowing how to move past that genre, or they're so known for this and they've become good at this. That's an edge I'm finding even with my drawing of like, oh gosh, I haven't wanted to dabble in another thing because I'm starting to get good at this, so I don't want to be bad at something again, right? So there's so many different edges. So I'm just going to leave it at that. I'd love to hear your input, your thoughts on that. It's just something to be aware of within self, and I'll share what I go through in my projects of writing and with art, because it teaches me so much. It's all transformation. Like I'm noticing with creative projects, it's so similar to the teachings of consciousness and the experience I have in developing my own consciousness and personal development. It's all one and the same, right? So it's showing up for me right now in art because that's an expression of something, but all of that is within me. So I'm going to play with my edges. It's all about playing with edges. It's all about, in life, it's like, well, can you go past your comfort zone? And you know what? We all have to have boundaries. We all have to have standards and have a tight container. That's how we master our energy. It's not about dropping standards or what our values are. It's never about going past our values. It's about tuning in, always tuning in, being like, hey, where is this fear coming from? Is it because Because when you have a boundary, for instance, say you have a value and you're like, no, I don't want to move into that, right? For instance, okay, just say you were a Christian author and you didn't want to go into these areas. Well, that's your value. You don't need to play with that edge because you're very firm, but it will feel so different to you. It would just be like this will make you feel your container, your values, your boundaries will feel so good to you, and you'll be expressing, and you'll be showing, like you'll be able to flow through what's coming out because it's a high frequency. I'm talking about when it's not flowing and you have put up a wall. There's a difference between a wall and a boundary. And a wall comes from fear. And it comes from not being willing to go over there because of whatever conditioning and programming you have in your brain. So it's all about moving past that. And there's different techniques. For me, I'm going to be doing some deep inner work and some EFT, and I have people to keep me accountable in this type of work, right? It's all connected to transformation. So if you do need someone to help guide you through that, then just let me know, because I do work with people. I'm very excited to work with creative people as well on that in a coaching and coaching, mentoring kind of capacity. And we can do some EFT, and we can do some other techniques and tools that help actually release you from that energy that is holding you back. It's always energy. It's always energy, right? It's just a kink in the hose. That's all it is. It's not that you need healing. It's not that you have this block that's, this thing that needs to be fixed. It's just unkinking the energy, looking at what's kinking it up and releasing it in whatever way. And if we can't do that from a point of consciousness in terms of just making the decision and moving forward, because sometimes that's all you need to do. You need to see it and then move forward. But if you can't, if nothing's still flowing, then you can use some methods and technologies and modalities that actually help that energy move. So that's all I'm going to say. Anyway, I hope you're doing well as best as you can be in this period of, I call it the incubation period. I hope something amazing is being birthed for you in this time. Bye for now.